So if you're going to be a digital entrepreneur, there's lots of different ways. It could be any one of these or some of these. Are you involved in e-commerce? Do you buy or sell products online? Are you a blogger or influencer like Shelby, what's her name? Shelby Church. Are you a freelancer? Are you a digital marketer? Do you sell products on eBay, on Etsy? Okay. So are you a digital entrepreneur has lots of different answers, right? We all, you may have heard of digital nomads, okay? So basically I can run my business from anywhere. And in fact, in some ways, I fit slightly into this category because I do work with businesses here as a consultant and so on. But this particular activity I'm at, I could be sitting in Spain, I could be sitting in Ireland, I could be sitting in Kuala Lumpur, and I could run the same session. So, there, there, there are different ways of looking at this, but it comes back to how do we add value? How is value added in our business, to our customers? And that's why I wanted to talk about about the news business. So there's a movie, so there's you may or may not be aware of Richard Nixon, a former US president, had to resign because of various things. These two, they made a movie about that, which was called All the President's Men. The two actors here are playing the two reporters. These are the actual two reporters, Carl Bernstein on the left and Bob Woodward on the right, who investigated and broke the story that eventually brought down President Nixon in the 1970s. And they worked at the Washington Post. But the problem for businesses and for printing businesses that this is what we're dealing with. It's a very manual, mechanical process. So, there's lots of print shops like this. I have cousins in this business, and this is where they started, right? Where you've got the chemicals, you've got the plates, you've got the plate making, like I showed you at the start. Okay, there's a more modern version of that in the 80s where they're printed plates, electrostatic, and different types of printing machines. 2-color, 1-color, full color, different machines for folding, lots of chemicals, lots of ink, not a pristine operating room, all right? And newspapers are a bit like that as well. And this is the challenge. I mean, how do newspapers cope? How do they cope with the fact that, what was the business model, having a big, massive printing press, lots of people engaged in terms of running that mechanical setup. Lots of people, like we saw in the video, taking that stuff off, batching it into piles and putting it into vans and getting that out there so that people go and they pay their $1 or their $2 and they buy a newspaper at their local store or the newsstand and they read it. Of course, that's all changing. As we said, none of you guys have bought a newspaper. I used to buy one every day, but I haven't bought a newspaper. I bought maybe 2 newspapers this year. Okay, why? Because it's been supplanted by a different solution, by online news. So the actual physical production of the paper is different. Now we're producing news and some news organizations, and they're pushing it up onto the web. So the business model has to change. It has to change. And what we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years is hundreds of newspapers closing, amalgamations in the industry, lots of job losses, not just the operators, but reporters as well, because the same thing applies on the reporting stage. It used to be that reporters would come in, they'd have their desk and they'd go out and they'd be local reporters in their cities and so on. Of course, they can do much more research electronically now, okay? They can interview people by phone, by Zoom. They can, if I write a good story here, I can syndicate it and share it in to other newspapers and so on. So newspapers in various jurisdictions don't have to have stringers or reporters out all over the place anymore. So the whole business model is changing. Because what I want you to do is think about Denike, okay? This is a Slovak newspaper business. These guys were told it was nuts. They were mad to get up to start and running. The newspaper business was dead, but they approached it in a different way and they made it work. So we'll pick up on that the next day. So what your homework is, I want you to prepare a one-page report, about 250 words, maximum 250 words. How has business changed due to the continuing development of the digital world? Okay, and what implications does this have for entrepreneurs? Okay, is that fair enough? Are you okay with that? Yep. Okay. And the other question I said was, oh, not that one. We haven't seen that one. Sorry. It was, yeah. So it's tied in with that. What makes a business digital? Okay. So I'm going to let you deal with that. What makes a business digital? And this. How has business changed due to the following? Okay.